This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy! Hey, let's talk about you, the ID10T community events at ID10T.com, like Russ Stevens, aka
CatBus Russ,
who has started a podcast called 90 for Chill, which Russ says is dedicated to movies with a runtime between 74 and 99 minutes, the time frame that I feel is ideal. Russ, I could not agree with you more. That is a fantastic idea. Russ goes on to say there are times you need a cinematic fix but don't have time for the latest Scorsese masterpiece or offering from a comic book universe. There's also times when you need a conclusion to prevent a binge costing you a whole night. My guest and I try to follow these guidelines as we chat up features that are definitely worth your time and are beyond easy to make time for. 90 for Chill, the podcast, can be found on all major podcast platforms at 90forchill.com, and that's spelling out 90, Ninety, 4 chill. So there you go. Thank you so much for sharing, Russ. Really great idea for a podcast. Events at ID10T.com for everyone else.
Hello there.
After a 10-hour workday, it's about 11 p.m. when I finally get around to finalizing my podcast and uploading it to the internet. So I definitely need a lot of energy, but I don't need all that caffeine, so I rely on Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. It's a coffee fruit extract, so you get about as much caffeine as a cup of coffee, but you get all the vitamins you could possibly wish for and all the energy, and about half the price. If you spend $4 a shift on energy drinks, you're spending $80 on sugar per month. Why don't you cut that in half and try Dubby Energy Blend? And if you go and visit dubby.gg and use the promo code CatBusRuss at checkout, you're going to save yourself 10%. So on top of spending half the money, you can at least go and get one over on the tax man. So that's dubby.gg, promo code CatBusRuss, and start feeling energized today.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
And welcome to I Dig Crazy Flicks presents 90 for Chill, the podcast with CatBus Russ. I am your host, CatBus Russ. And today I am joined by James from Cinema Recall. Is it just James, or do you go by
it's Vern.
Vern?
It's
Yes.
Vern.
Oh,
My name is Jason, but Vern James is good too. I like James. Sounds more
shoot.
professional.
Did I miss? Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
was
fine.
like going through the emails and such. Okay. Yeah. So I guess just be easy enough, Vern, to tell us about the Cinema Recall. I've listened to the Four Rooms, the Misbehaviors episode recently.
Thank you.
I'm still more of the Man from Hollywood episode short myself, but
That's fair.
yes, I mean you recently did a month of Rodriguez, I believe, and
hmm
all
Yep.
right.
So yeah, I mean, we covered different directors on our shows. We covered Brian De Palma, Yargos Lanthimos,
Oh,
even covered like Andy Sedaris features because why not? But we covered David Cronenberg on there as
mhm.
well. And we just like to do a different series on Cinema Recall and just whatever I think fits good. One month we did a whole series about femme fatales. So we did like Basic Instinct and Innocent Blood
Oh,
and
nice one.
yeah, it's about good stuff on there. Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, we're not going into the American cinema, definitely in this case.
Oh,
This is a movie that I would say would technically be ready for Jason Paul in June on How Did This Get Made? Because this is a 1966 Czechoslovakian, so obviously before the Iron Curtain fell, film, Daisies, from director Vera Chytilova. Um,
much better than I could do, bud. I try to pronounce his
okay.
names. I'm horrible.
Yes, so it's a like I've got a couple descriptions. I've went and gone and copy and pasted from IMDb. Um, let's see. Well, one is after realizing the one that shows up on IMDb is After realizing that all world is spoiled, Marie and Marie are committed to be spoiled themselves. They rip off older men, feast in lavish meals, and do all kinds of mischief, but what is what is all this leading to? So I don't know how such as an English major, like should not have copied and pasted that one because like, oh man. Um yeah, it's Czechoslovakia, two girls just causing mischief really is the entire movie. Which some weird juxtaposition right off the bat. You have the workings of a mill, the gears going, interspiced with war footage. Yeah, I couldn't tell you which war it is, but
This,
yeah, it's definitely got a message. It's got
yeah, this is a very political movie. At time because when I was watching the behind the scenes footage about this movie, this seemed more like a protest movie in a way.
yeah.
They're basically trying to attack communist views and ideals with these two girls just wreaking havoc on everything. And like totally like exposing the hypocrisies of like their societies. And there's that scene where they're at this buffet eating a whole bunch of like sweets and foods. They're not eating any fruits or vegetables. They're all about the excess. They want to eat all the sweets and the stuff that at that time a lot of Czechoslovakian citizens could not get. And so they're sort of like making like a mockery of that. Like, hey, we're gonna have all these candies and these steaks and meats, and we're going to avoid all these fruits and vegetables. Well, at the time, the citizens could only eat fruits and vegetables. So it's all about like this access for these girls. And it is very much like they have like this punk rock aesthetic about them where yeah they do use the men that they go to dinner with because these men, these older men, are expecting some sort of gratification from these young girls, but they never give in to them. You know, they play around like, oh, please buy these foods, buy these sweets, all right, let's do all this stuff. And then they put the men on the train and send them off. And then they just grab another guy and they sort of like pay into the whole like notion of that. And I
Uh,
appreciate it very much.
Right, and at points they even get fed up with it. They're always looking
Mhm.
for the next thing to, well, I guess you would say score in a sense. Looking for the next mark, but as I say, they even get tired of looking for marks at some point. Um, and it's kind of, I would say, a degree of confusion, like with all of this excess. I mean, it's almost like, well, as you explained it, it's protesting the communist government. Well, I would figure like if you there's a and this probably was what may have allowed it to get made to the point where it got a European release, but then eventually was barred from getting international release um, because oh yeah, we don't want the West to know that we're letting people make a mockery of us in our own
Yeah.
country. But with the excess stuff, I could almost say a nice Streets of Fire poster behind you. I mean,
Oh,
nice wall in general.
thank you, thank you.
Um, I would say the a lot of this could be considered though more of a from another angle is you could probably say, well, it's the communist, these girls represent the West and look at the trouble they're causing.
Yeah.
We shouldn't allow, you shouldn't be in favor of this. But, we're along for the ride. This is what the movie is more of a ride than anything.
Oh, 100%. And I know like a lot of other people have called this movie Daisies to be a feminist movie, but that
Hmm.
was not the intention that the director wanted to have. She wasn't trying to go out to make a feminist movie about these girls that are wreaking havoc on the male patriarchy about them taking advantage of these guys. That wasn't her like intention of it. She seems like when I say a movie, it's all about access and how destruction can also be creative. It could be a creative force in there. And she just totally breaks the rules of traditional film narrative with this movie. The random jump cuts, the way that use of color will
Hmm.
change during a scene from like yellows to reds to blues. The way that she literally has them cutting up the frame of the movie itself.
Hmm.
And I think she's just trying to say that, hey, films don't have to necessarily be your traditional way of telling films. And I always tell people this, Russ, that before you go into this movie, and feel free to jump in and agree or disagree with me with this on this, but I think the movie Hasu or House from 1977 is a great gateway drug into this movie.
I have not actually gotten around to Hasu. I'm well aware of it,
Okay,
and
yeah,
just the if you just watch a YouTube video about Hasu,
yeah,
it doesn't even have to be the entire video, just one of those bollocks top 10 foreign horror, and
yeah,
as long as it's not AI generated, the at least the script, the very much. Yeah, you'll see constant clips of just okay, that's how would
yeah.
this how does this come into play? Now I did look back on the director. I know she had before the Second World War was a flapper herself, so kind of explains why you have that C 20-ish style dance number
Yep.
early on in the film where like I don't know if these girls are a good hang or not. I might be just still a little too uptight. But they are just constantly making a point to annoy people. And I think that comes into later on in the film where you have them trying to go out to the country to do that. And that's just a place, maybe even old values. We're not going to pay attention. We have work to do. Um, and they're pissed that they're not getting anybody to do they exist even.
Oh,
And then you have that scene afterwards where they're cutting the foot like they start cutting an outline of one of the Maries, and then she cuts the midriff of her shirt, and then you see them cutting each other, heads floating, arms random. Um, so just a kind of a juxtaposition there, I suppose. And yeah, so
it's yeah, you mentioned the cut in the heads, and that's like the main theme that made me connect this to how
to
Sue is
Hasu,
that
yes.
there's a character with their head is cut off, and it's kind of done like on paper mache style, the
Mm,
way this is. I feel like this director is like tapping into her like childish, almost like way of like telling stories, and it's just so wildly inventive, and I can totally see people getting frustrated with this movie because it has
mm,
no clear plot narrative. I mean, we're introduced to characters which I don't quite understand. Is that older lady up there? Is that their mother or their landlord that they keep running into? Who is she? All right.
mm,
Who is that one lady in the bathroom that they run into? All right.
yeah.
Sequences of them just wearing like newspaper like dresses with barbed wire and whatnot. There's a band you probably I don't know, have you ever heard the band Russ called Chicks on Speed?
I've heard of them, and I can't say I could tell you a song off the top of my
Okay.
head. I'm a big uh I my big claim, at least on the feminist side, is I've seen every Kathleen Hanna band at some point. So
Oh, sure.
yeah, I
Yes.
have not seen her solo stuff, but
She was in that La Tigra band, right? And
La Tigra, Bikini Kill, the last
yep.
group she was in was Julie Ruin, the Julie Ruin.
Okay.
Yeah, so. so I've heard of Chicks on Speed, and I don't think that necessarily falls in the Riot Girl because Riot Girl was very much girls who did not know how to play, making it up on their own.
Like, isn't one of the girls from Chits on Speed in La Tigra?
I'm sorry?
Isn't one of the
I,
members from La Tigra in
you
Chits on
might,
Speed?
yeah, you may. That does sound reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
But I looked at live footage. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw one of the members of that in Chits on Speed.
Hmm.
But Chits on Speed has a lot of like this like art pop aesthetic and the way they mix samples of things that don't quite match. It reminds me very much of these girls, these Maries. If Marie were real people and they made a band, it would sound a lot like Chits on Speed. Because
Okay.
they'll take samples of like different movies and soundtracks because their live shows they basically just use like a boombox and like another boombox for like the samples and just like do stuff on stage and they have like crazy fashion. Yeah, it's just crazy stuff and that's what this movie kind of reminds me of.
Okay. Yeah, not seeing an immediate. Well, let's see. Not seeing an immediate connection with Chicks on
Okay,
Speed.
I may be wrong.
I think Kathy Glass might be mixed up in a lot of the Riot Girl movement.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, um, yeah, it's a and when I think of these like girls, all of a sudden, at least when they're in their apartment, really just trying to be artistic, but it's kind of gives me a Heavenly Creatures vibe where
Oh,
you get the well we're so involved with our own writing that everyone else can't understand it. Um and
sure.
at least in a modern day they'd probably lay it heavier on the homosexual nature
Okay, yeah.
of the characters. Definitely something you would not be able to get. I mean, hell, you can't get away with it in many of the former republics.
Mhm.
Um, but when I do think about the art stuff, it's like, well, I could don't know if I could stand these girls. And then again, like, I've hung out with plenty of girls actually who are like, all right, let's go and make magnets out of magazines and such. So I guess they are relatable, but it's a very much you got to go out of your way. So maybe that would be my frustration is when it comes to you, I suppose. Like,
Oh, I don't know if you noticed this too, but in their room settings, like their bed is like all like this lush green on there, and they have like plants and stuff on the wall. There's moments where they're basically just cutting up fruits and vegetables, but they don't really seem to like it or like respect it in a way because they want to eat all the sweets and
oh,
all the other accessible things right
mm,
there and they seem
yep.
to be they take pleasure in when to like destroy nature for their own joy and amusement, and that comes back to hurt them because they get thrown out into like water and they say no we'll be good, we promise you we'll be good, we won't do the stuff anymore, and then they go and like clean up the place and make everything nice. And I don't know, Russ, I believe there's like some sort of like hidden narrator that's in this as well that I'm not quite confused about.
There are moments I would say where you get a commentary. I would say more in like just the typewriter going.
Sure, yes.
And there's a lot of scenes where there's no dialogue, more just like one of the men trying to woo them over the phone or um, just talk about love and stuff that our characters just aren't really committed to. Um, because that they don't want to get any feelings. Um, and it's an interesting dynamic between the Maries because one keeps pointing out that she's gainfully employed, and even at one point, like she brings up the fact to a in the bathtub scene that You could just disappear if you wanted to. You don't work, your name's not on this apartment.
Why
Um,
are you here?
yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
very well, like, it's a wanting to be noticed, but acknowledging that there, probably advantages to not being noticed. Let's see,
Animosity? Am I saying that right there?
Timidity
Okay.
and anonymity, I guess, is probably the closest I'm going to get to it. Uh, so that's so they are, there's so there is are moments where it's like they're not really into creating the chaos. Right now, I got the flapper scene playing off, and then that's something I would say about the colors. Like if something's supposed to be realistic, it's either in black or
Oh,
white or not overly saturated.
oh,
While
I had no idea that any of this movie was supposed to be realistic at all, Russ. I just thought I'm in a fever dream right from the start because the beginning frame of them moving like their dolls and
yes,
everything there
that
too.
right, that is well, they didn't hire actresses for this one.
Well,
That I did know.
yeah, but I thought they were both really good. I mean, this could be seen as like a documentary. This is almost like MTV before it became MTV.
Oh, well, it's definitely a lot of performance art. I think of
Yes.
the TV show Spaced, if you've ever watched that.
Okay.
Written by Simon Pegg and Nick Wright, Edgar Wright, and Jessica Hines. I know it was Stevenson at the time. There's one episode where they go to the artist down in the basement's not old partner, and it's very much a weird performance art bit. So that I kind of get those vibes at least. I mean, so obviously 30 years later they're mocking it, but it's very much I think that since these are untrained actresses that it works fine making it seem like they're very much stilted, as in even robotic, especially at the beginning where you even hear them the the joints moving and such, or like doors, I would say, on hinges.
And this is the beginning part where they're like, the world's a mess. We should
Mm,
just go crazy and like the world's gone bad. Should we be bad? Should we be good? No. And then when she slaps her, one of the Marie slaps the other one. I think it's
mm.
like the brunette slaps the blonde, and then it cuts to color, and they're like have like these plants, and she's pulling stuff off, and then we cut to her in her bedroom, and she's
Yeah,
spitting out like a peach pit seed, and then
right.
she's digging into her cushions or her pillows or her sheets, and she sees like other plants that are there. And I have to ask you this, Russ. This is your first
Mm,
time watching this movie. I've seen this. This is like my second time watching this fully there.
mhm.
I just gotta know, like, your reaction to this. Like, did you watch any trailers before you watched this movie, or did you just go in cold?
I saw a few clips on on YouTube,
Okay.
or yes, trailers basically. Uh, when you go and classify anything as I guess they said new wave. This would be
Mhm.
considered Czech new wave.
Yes.
Um, I think there was more of a fascination going into it to keep my attention, just because uh, it's for me like Czechs uh, when I think of Iron Curtain cinema, I obviously go to well, it gets weird because I was about to say Stalker is definitely 79 Russian. Then I same director as the original Solaris. Um, like they do, it's just very weird that to see, dare I say, liberal ideas coming from that side, and
Yeah.
when you have a movie that's not science fiction, I should say. At least with science fiction, you can shape the narrative a little bit. Just something so off the wall. Um, and I really do just again, and there's that running thing with the redhead Marie's uh crown of flowers. She's uh they
Yeah.
occasionally throw off her transitions. I just found it like very it's a fascinating display, I guess, and it's just like I'm there. It's good to know that I'm walking into something weird.
Hmm.
I guess I was ready for it. I don't think this is one you
Okay.
can just spring on people, I suppose. Is
No.
what I'm getting at. This
That
is
is
good.
true.
This is good back in the 90s or in the aughts of bars just playing movies in the background
Yes.
just for aesthetic. Um
I feel like back in the day of Adult Swim, right between Aqua Teen Hunger Force and C Lab 2021, you could show this movie because it's not that long. It's an
no.
hour and like 15 minutes,
Hmm.
and I feel like you could just totally play it on that network even before like Harvey Birdman, just some like random thing where you see like these like girls acting like robots, and you could actually play like each movie in between other like cartoon shows. Um,
Yeah, no,
it's just
it's
crazy.
very much like the original Adult Swim bumpers.
Yes.
I mean, well, maybe not the get out of the pool bumpers back in the day, Adult Swim. Um, but yeah, it's got a it's a it's in a sense it's weird just because everything can just be taken out of context and makes but still makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like that like that I guess is the art to it is that it doesn't you don't need to know the space to be in the space.
Yeah. Well, do you think it would help audiences to research the movie before they see it? Because all the things that I was watching this video about all the plant motifs and all the
Hmm.
fruit and vegetable motifs. And we had one reviewer who was saying that this movie is all about the excess, and these girls are ignoring the plants and fruits and vegetables. They just want to like restrain themselves in like chaos and excess, and this brings about their downfall later on. And I never
Hmm.
really kind of thought about it. I just thought I'm just watching this crazy movie about these two teenage girls who are going around, basically pretending to seduce these older men, and so they can get food and wine, and then they leave them, and then they go off, and then they see this one act of this girl singing. The one thing I know is that the singer who is in that moment where they're dancing, the girl singing. Apparently, that lady, she was banned from the country, and so they actually did use her voice, and that was a big no-no because this person was barred from actually singing, and the fact that they used her singing voice in that moment was supposed to be very controversial. So I feel like this director is kind of like making a statement about certain females being barred in society when they shouldn't be, and these ladies are sort of like taking that back. And maybe it's not that at all. Like she said before, it's not really a feminist film. She just wants to talk about excess, and maybe this is not a movie that needs to make any sense at all. I think each person who watches it are going to find their own things they like about it. I can totally understand people watching this not understanding a thing about it because yeah, things just go crazy, random cuts of colors, and then when it goes from like black and white to color schemes, is this real? Is this fantasy? I don't understand this at all. Yeah, but it's fun.
Hmm. Uh, I guess I would, I would try to definitely suggest watching a trailer to a stranger. I got a lot of vibes going back to the Simpsons when the Gabbo episode, and at some point Krusty's being killed so much in the ratings they lose Itchy and Scratchy. So they bring the a cartoon from Czechoslovakia, Werker and Parasite, and then it's just a real frantic imagery, not really any actual animation. And they cut back to Krusty after the cartoon's over. He's got a cigarette falls out of his mouth. What the hell was that? So yeah, you don't want somebody to walk into that without a heads up.
Without a heads
Uh,
up.
yeah, but it's let's see, I brought up the colors and but yeah, this is definitely have wiki on standby.
Which, okay.
Cinema, I would say.
You have to admit the fact that this was made any type of like computer fetch, the fact they're doing this all on screen
Mhm.
is really, really creative stuff. And I'm always fascinated by filmmakers that try to take movies into a new way. And I'm just completely baffled and amazed at this movie. I think that it's just, like I said, beautifully shot, and I think that the characters are great. I just like the random chaos. It's random chaos that's
Mhm.
about destruction, but the random chaos and destruction is also creative in ways too. And it's like I know that if I ever have my friends over, I know, guarantee it, they will watch it for about like maybe 15 minutes, and then they're like, "All right, Vern, we gotta end this right now. This is just way too weird for me to handle." And I'm like, "Okay, fully
Well,
understand that." Like, you know what
uh,
it reminds me of? The
mm,
movie in a weird way, because I think Darren Aronofsky's mother does go
mhm.
crazy in ways too that a lot of people are not going to enjoy. But yeah, I have to
Well,
say,
there's a certain mean-spiritedness to I would dare say most of our Aronofsky stuff. I think the most sympathetic is the wrestler. Um, while Black Swan, you have the competition angle, and let's not even get into Requiem. It's
oh,
a
it's my Requiem.
oh no
I
no
I I
I'm
showed my
not.
friends Requiem because I was like one of my favorite movies because I use it to help me with my depression.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, kid that watched Requiem was also kind of a theme there as well. Oh, I tried to get them to watch House Su, and I
Yeah,
thought
well,
House
I
Su.
don't know how you could not find fun. Like, I know what it is, so I know I would get into it. Honestly, I have more issues with a like this is trying to uh Daisies is out to amuse you. Like
Yes.
it's chaos. I would say because of its chaotic nature, I'm far more forgiving. Like I will shut
Mhm.
off movies with characters I can't stand
Yes.
a lot sooner. Like, okay, Swingers, fine. Maid, no. Like
Yeah.
I don't need that. And Maid's generally reviewed well, but no, if I can't get in with it, if I'm not down with the characters,
Oh.
um, or and maybe for me, having dealt with so many crazy girls, I grew up in Peoria, and I was like the one guy the strippers all head to when they're trying to avoid creeps. Like,
Sure.
so yeah. Um,
Well, and
so
that's the great
I
thing too about
yeah.
yeah, about the ladies in this one. I mean, they are essentially charismatic.
Hmm.
They're fun. We want to see them take down these really slimy guys. These guys are like really older than
Yes.
them, and they seem
Oh,
to
there's
like,
only yeah, there's only one sweet old guy, and he's
well, yeah,
the guy who resists going on the train. Like,
yeah,
um,
yeah, that's true. He probably is like the only nicest person, but other ones, they're like, hey, these younger girls are with me. I'm gonna try to like take this to my advantage, and they turn this tables on them,
mhm.
and they're like, no, we're just gonna use you for your food and
Yeah.
your access and everything, and I enjoy that very much about it.
And now, a feature presentation. Oh, very well. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Get ourselves some snacks.
You do not have to be like me, because I know that everybody's social media feed is bombarded with ads for the new guilt-free snack. But you're scrolling on social media, so you're curious about a lot of things. And fortunately for me, I have a pretty high batting average when it comes to trying stuff from online sources. One of those hits was Deutsch Snacking Dough. It's cookie dough you can eat raw, you can bake into cookies in under 10 minutes, and it just fills you up in a few scoops. I like to eat a pound, maybe 2 pounds of chicken wing in a sitting, and still there's the urge to go for that third pound. But with Deutsch Snacking Dough, you take a couple scoops, and it just settles me down, and I feel full. Free of the top 8 allergens, they're gluten-free, low sugar, and have 3 times the protein of any other dough out there. And it's plant-based. And as I say, I can eat 3 pounds of wings in a sitting if I feel like it. I am a carnivore. Needless to say, I was skeptical about plant-based snacking dough, but my skepticism was proven wrong. So if you go down to the link in the description of this podcast, it will take you to my portal and you will get 20% off of your order. So find your new snack today, Deutsch Snacking Dough.
Right.
Yeah.
I would definitely need to get a little more historical point from Czechoslovakia then, because you still have so much art associated with Prague even during the Cold War
Mhm.
and such. And it brought me like to an extent it reminded me of the Zucker Abrams and Zucker movie Top Secret at times.
Sure.
Just really just taking the piss out of these oppressive places. Like I could see this being a great escape for the audience in the Czech Republic and Slovakia, um, just because so the satire is damn near perfect, I would say, because it's just like because one would suspect that you have these members of the party, dare I say, um, like you would if you go to Tarantino's Inglorious Bastards. I would suppose the Germans who are just taking advantage of the French at time, since they're there and the French who comply, like Julia Dreyfus as the Goebbels translator,
Oh, sure.
stuff like that. Or the entire everybody going nuts for Daniel Bruhl's character, except for Shoshana.
Oh,
Uh,
100%.
yeah. So I mean, it's a two-tier society type thing, even during oppressive regimes, and it's almost embarrassing to the oppressors. The patriarchy, I guess, is really what it comes down to. That
Yeah,
they're desperate for the attention of women, but they definitely can't handle it.
that's true. And I kind of wish we got more into that because there is a sequence where one of the Maries is with this guy who collects the butterflies,
Yes.
and she's
Mhm.
basically kind of like nude with all these like covered herself with these butterfly photographs. And the guy that she's with, he's like, I love you, I'll do anything for you. There's either moment cutting back to just her and the brunette Marie in bed,
Mhm.
and the phone call conversations for this guy is like, I'll buy you states, I'll get you whatever you want, just come back to
Oh,
me.
they're totally ignoring him, and he's, oh, I want to eat steak, and he's just trying to
He's like,
respond, despite they are not
they don't
invested.
even they're not even cared about him at all. And you could almost feel like maybe that's their country trying to connect with youth again, maybe. I'm stretching here, I know that, but maybe that's like their country going, hey, we're hip, we're cool, please love us, we're your country, and be good, be like us again. And these two girls are just completely against that. There's also that scene where they have all these like guys' numbers on like walls and
Right.
everything, and they're like, this guy
Looking
was in
through
jail, and this guy,
this
he's
guy's
not seen
dead.
anymore.
This
This
guy's
guy's
dead. Complaining about we don't have an H, like they're just going through the alphabet with names, not like, oh, we have to go and basically, yeah, that's something we got to check off at
and
some point.
even though like they are kind of like, using these guys for their food, once they're gone, the girls are like, oh shoot, they're gone now. Now we don't have anyone else to get food from. So it's like these guys that they're sort of like taking advantage of is like their country, and they're basically kind of like stealing from their country to the point where near the end everything just like disappears, and
Hmm.
they're trying to get all the food and access places, but then it could all just be gone in like a quick second. And that's what happens to them at the end. And then they're like, hey, we're sorry. We'll be good. We'll do better. They try to clean up everything in that one banquet hall like they would be cleaning up of their country. And then the movie ends, and sorry for spoilers here,
Oh
with
no,
like a
I don't think this is one you can really spoil. Now
yeah, well,
the ending is obvious since it's in a communist country. You definitely could not get something made if you don't off your main you don't off the troublemakers. It's so
yes.
different than the Hayes Code, and hell, technically the Hayes Code was still in effect stateside. So who's to say that you could even get it made here? I was when I was at
Yeah.
the Indiana Comic Convention, ended up doing like four panels in a row from people representing the Ray Bradbury Center, which for some reasons at the I no, I should have talked to them. But hey, I'm promoting and such. Um, they were there was a the first one I heard was a guy just really giving a lecture on censorship. And when you get through the Hayes Code would not let you obviously show nudity. Alfred Hitchcock is fun just for him mocking it by like, oh, you can't kiss for more than 3 seconds. Well, I will have a 30 seconds of kissing, but it's going to be separate. There's going to be breaths of air every 2 seconds. But in this
Yep.
case, but it was also something like gangster movies started to suck in the 30s because the gangster had to die in the end. You can't,
Yeah.
you could not show them in any kind of positive light. So obviously these troublemakers getting smashed by a chandelier, and I don't think you can really spoil a movie like this because it's one you just have to sit and watch. So
Mhm.
thank you very much, Vern, for just throwing this out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, it's an experience. It's like going to Disney World. Everybody's told you what the ride is, but strap me in to one of those flying birds from Avatar, a movie still haven't seen. Like, all right, I get it.
I think just the runtime enough of this movie is good enough for people to like check out, because it's a little bit over an hour long.
Yeah,
And I was never bored watching this movie. Were you at all like checking your time? Like, I can't believe what's going on. Like
uh,
there's so much kinetic energy going on with just these girls, and like their laughter, and then it cuts to them rolling down a hill, and then cuts to them like chasing a train. There's that great sequence, and I don't know how they did this, Russ, but it shows like the POV from a train, and it's driving, and we're seeing all these different flashes of like colors and textures going on in the screen. I'm like, what is this? Is this animation? I don't quite understand this. Look, cats, if you've seen Everything Ever All at Once and the way it changes genres within that movie, that's what kind of like Daisies is in a way. So if you're a fan of that and like the random chaos that happens in that movie, you'll probably appreciate the random chaos in this one. Like I mentioned before, Hausu, great gateway drug for this one. Yeah, I just like really crazy, odd, eccentric movies that don't necessarily make a lot of sense, and I feel like I'm the crazy weird guy for suggesting this to you. And I was worried that you would feel bored watching this, Russ. I was like, no, please don't be bored watching this movie.
Well, as I say, premise alone, how the heck are you going? Even reading that poorly poorly constructive description on IMDb, which like, all right, when I do the website, obviously can't rip copy and paste that one. Uh, it's the premise of people being spoiled in a communist country. It's
Yeah,
like, well, that's not supposed to um be not supposed to be a thing, I suppose. Um no, I mean, obviously if you watch movies like Death of Stalin, um they're again just realizing the class system, I should
yeah.
say,
And a lot of
makes it.
people, sorry, a lot of people were being upset because of these girls destroying nature and foods. Because at that time, all people could really eat
Oh,
was like bananas and eggs and like this really like minuscule foods. And here are these girls like wasted it just because they want to have the more elaborate foods that people could get at the time, and that was seemed controversial.
hmm oh, well, I mean, it goes back to the first. Well, the weight, I guess the food waste I didn't really catch. But the decadent meals and such, again, the uh basically it's an act of rebellion in a sense. That's why I guess it comes across as a feminist message. Like, you can have all the great things and not sell yourself out, essentially. Um, you don't have to join the party. There's ways to get what you want. And if anything, this is like a mess. I could see again why this never got a it got its initial release, and then like, okay, yeah, we can't let this get much further because it's an it's really an instruction manual to anarchy in a sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So, uh, like myself, my politics, my leanings, I'm actually like, why not give communism a try? Is my theory. Is my theory. Like, yes, everybody else has gotten it wrong. So surely we could learn from that.
Yeah, we can do it way
And
better. We can do better.
yeah, I mean, do you want Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh,
Star Wars is a lot more exciting, I'll give you that, but then it's got religion and never mind the
yeah.
violence. Star Trek is all about bonding together as a community. And in the end it's got to be a one party system where I mean, and even going back to Star Wars prequels, it's like, well, like that movie really points out that George Lucas did his best, I would say, to give us a civics lesson. Like, there's a reason why politicians are politicians. There's like, and that's the entire downfall of this country is that, well, we don't, why do we want these people who think they know best for us? Well, because they've studied this.
Yeah,
They,
it's
they, they are, they are, that's their interest, that's their passion. While anybody from the Tea Party and the Orange Twat in office are about are not had no concerns. They're only there to take, which is how communism always ends up failing. But
yeah. I hope that maybe there are fe female filmmakers or any filmmaker of any gender that would be highly um impressed by this movie in the fact where
Oh,
they want to like do their own version of it. In
mhm.
fact, there is a movie that I have and I should watch it again because someone sent me it. It is called Savage Witches.
I've heard of it. Um,
And I swear, I feel like the filmmakers of that feature Savage Witches, and I have the DVD around here somewhere. I'll have to look for it. But there's a lot of similarities of Savage Witches and Daisies. It's like
mm,
those filmmakers were um impressed, or the word I'm thinking of right now is blanking in my mind, where they're influenced by that film Daisies, where they decided to do their own take of it. And I appreciate that very much. Yes.
well, I could definitely see maybe a little of this in the really definitely more of a shocking Catherine Hardwicke's 13.
Sure. Oh, yes.
And
Great pick.
I could say now I'm not a fan of the filmmaker. I just don't think they've really ever made a point. Jane Schoenbrow, I think it is. I saw the TV Glow. We're all going to the World's
Yeah.
Fair. I don't think she's ever landed a movie. I'm sorry, I don't think they have ever landed landed a movie. Um,
I
but the visuals, I could definitely see them like there are directors who definitely focus more on the visuals than they should sometime than the narrative. Like Dario Argento's scripts are pretty thin, but you know, if you can create imagery like with like I guess everybody loves the will talk of the mise en scene of this movie, that it's that every shot is deliberate. It's almost Kubrickian in the fact that you can just frame a shot. I mean, you
yes.
could put it up on the wall. So, so, but fortunately, it doesn't need a deep story. This is
That's true.
just this is just chaos, and we have to kill them just to prove a point at the end, just so it can be released at the end.
I'm so glad you brought up the filmmaker of I Saw the TV Glow and We're All Going to the World's Fair. What was
Hmm.
their name again?
Uh, I, I'm looking it up right now. Jane Schoen.
Because
Uh,
I was never a fan of those movies, but I thought the cinematography was so good.
mhm.
And the use of set designs and characters were so good. She's going to be, or they're going to be adapting a comic book or a graphic novel called Black Hole by Charles Burns.
Okay.
And if you have read that graphic novel, the imagery, I can see them adapting that and actually good. I think the issue I have with their features is that they do not have a good story composition. Their stories and the
Oh, that's
screenplays are not really well thought
it.
out, in my
Definitely.
opinion.
Well, there's definitely. I saw the TV. No. We're all going to the World's Fair. Definitely. Narrative structure is not really there. Nothing necessarily makes sense, even when they try to do an epilogue. Like, oh no, I'm fine with the old guy who got overly invested in the internet. Uh, I've already talked about we're all going to the World's Fair and on the pod, and I saw the TV Glow is I does it. I guess I could see where people love the cinematography and what have you. Uh, but I think again, like it just like, oh, I have to end I have to end this movie at some point, and
I like the TV show. I wanted a whole 2 hours of just that TV show that they were watching, and I
mhm,
saw the TV Glow.
and I get a lot like I was doing a binge dive for a panel up in Des Moines GalaxyCon about for a friend of mine, Just McCord. He did an A24 panel I was on, and I can't really say I've watched enough of that. So like I didn't get to I saw the TV Glow because again I didn't care for we're all going to the World's Fair, but I did get around to watching Midsommar, which I think honestly, imagery wise, is very similar to Daisies in a lot of ways. Again,
Sure.
just very very dour and intense. Um
Yes. Very
and
much so. Ari Aster, 100%.
yes,
Yes.
and then I would compare I saw the TV Glow like, well, this is what I want from A24 is Midsommar. I saw the TV Glow like, no, it's not Nickelodeon. Are you afraid of the dark stuff? It's
Oh,
Buffy. It's like I no, it's not like I
it,
might be too old for this movie at that point.
fair enough.
But
I was in the whole Buffy reference there. I'm like, sweet, you're gonna do like this show. I'm like, but I have not. I don't
oh,
think
the show
I'm
would
the
be
right.
interesting. Yes.
I don't think I'm the right in my space to try to do decipher. I saw the TV Glow. I'm having a hard time just trying to decipher Daisies. All right, and
Oh,
that's only like an
well,
hour and 15 minutes, and I still don't think I was able to like crack everything that goes on in this movie. It's just a very random, wild, chaotic ride, and every year there's a theater in my hometown that plays Hausu every Halloween. All right.
nice, nice.
And they play it on 35 millimeter. It
Hmm.
brings a whole bunch of people because that show, that movie has been featured in a whole bunch of different like YouTube videos, and
Yes.
there's a whole bunch of like people analyzing the house and everything from how young the screenwriter was and or the person that initially came up with the story. And I feel like with Daisies, this is a movie that I want to be shown in theaters just to get people's reactions. I don't get people's reactions to Daisies. I see online people reacting to House, but no one reacts to Daisies much. And I feel like
Hmm.
it's on the Criterion channel. It's got this, Criterion release. It seems to be very well regarded and established in terms of like film fans, but a lot of people don't talk about this, so thank you for having me on this show, Russ, so
Oh,
I
well,
can maybe get people to like expose their minds to something that's completely different and strange. And many people are going to see this and they're not going to quite understand it. It's going to be like, this is weird for being weird. But then other people are going to be like, well, if you look at what's going on in Czechoslovakia at this time, this is seen as like a protest film. And
yes.
I love that aspect about films where people can take their own different ways of watching it and come up with their own style, and no one is right or wrong. It's just an experience, and I'm all for experiences in film.
Oh, most definitely. And it's very I guess it was a thought that came across my head. The only thing I could really say is close to Daisies in modern cinema or 21st century cinema. Um, just for the sheer chaos of it, might and I hate the movie, but it might be Freddy Got Fingered. Maybe I could go back to that
Wow.
but like yes, you have a very thin narrative of son
Yeah.
trying to gain father's acceptance, but nothing in that movie should make like
But
again, you could it was like the Tom Green show. You could take scenes and not have any context to it and they might work. Obviously as a narrative it does not, but
I just think Tom Green, yes, he does abuse people the same way that these girls do, but Tom Green is like annoying in Freddy Got Fingered. These two Marias, they're not really that annoying. Yes, are they annoying to what they do in that one place where those two performers are trying to sing and they're
yeah, and
drinking
they're
beer and they're
blowing bubbles from their beer, dropping on pe letting them.
bubbles and like crash on people.
Yeah.
Yes, but the people that they are attacking are like, the stuffy,
Yes,
snobby
the
people, the
bourgeoisie.
bourgeois
Yeah.
that they're attacking. And I kind of like it when they're attacking it, but when Tom Green does it, he's just being a jerk, to be honest with you.
Well, well, I have met Tom Green. I used to work at a hotel
Oh,
in Peoria, which was the pretty much the official hotel of the comedy club there, the Jukebox Comedy Club. And yeah, I was the concierge, which really just translated as shuttle driver. So I had to drive Tom Green to and fro. And he's just a guy who's always on. That is the ultimate case of ADHD. Um,
sure.
so that describes him. I would say, you know, the his character in Freddy Got Fingers not actually trying to piss anybody off still. Like, yeah, he just not he's not cute. He's I guess is the problem. Like looks will
Sure.
get you anywhere, but also again going back to the fact that these are not trained actresses. Um, they are strictly going off the direction of they are strictly following uh Chytilova's direction, which I think
Hmm.
further makes this all work is because they're not expected to emote, give a Shakespearean, do a Shakespearean, have a Shakespearean moment. There's another podcast I listen to called The Rewatchables, and they have the Vincent Hanna, Sal Rubinek overacting award moment. Vincent Hanna was Al Pacino's character in Heat, and it's the "Give me what you got" moment.
Oh, sure. Okay.
You're not going to
Oh,
get these from these
no.
actors because they don't have it in them. They are strictly
Yeah.
clay to be played with, and I think that going back to my Freddy Got Fingered comment. Tom Green was established by that point. You he directed that movie. He didn't give himself a you know any rope to pull himself back with. Um, but I could the iconography is very there's just moments of that, and I can't really think of any other sheer chaos films that are fun unless and all depending on your take on Aronofsky, I suppose.
$100%.
Even Alex Garland. I mean, I loved Men from a few years ago.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I could not get into Men as much as other critics have done. I just really wasn't vibing with that movie at all.
Hmm. No, and I can definitely see where people go from that. It's kind of like I don't know. I scored a point with the Ray Bradbury crew because they another panel they did was about fembots,
Okay.
the history from Maria all the way up to Ava, and of course I mentioned what we're not going to bring up Iris from
Okay.
Companion, but
That's right. Yes. Good one. Okay.
but they were very cool and like basically the entire bringing up the fact that um about the gender dynamics of why we have fembots and what have you, and the fears of women are now being realized in these movies compared to just the male. Yeah, women suck. Can we take the brains out standpoint? Uh,
Or even try and change women's brains like the character
Stepford
does in
Wives.
Obsession. Yeah,
Well, and
Stepford
then
Wives.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I haven't gotten around to Obsession yet, and that's kind of where I was getting at about the characters. They kind of have to be likable, and
yeah.
when your main character is a loser who decides to make a wish to get a sex slave,
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
make him
the
likable. So
no.
it's like okay, so it's not a slasher movie. It might be too smart for its own good, I guess is why I haven't gone out to see it yet.
Oh, okay. It's a good one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
that it is becomes intense. It is
mm,
funny. It's scary. Yeah, I highly recommend
they
Obsession.
definitely
That's
don't sell the funny. That's the problem in the
oh
trailers
the
and such.
I don't know the trailers I saw. I was like, okay, this is like a laugh right to me. But I laugh at weird things. I laugh at things that are probably not appropriate to laugh at.
In horror, there's no laws on what you can't laugh at. I will
Okay.
stand by that. All right. Well, I know you are a busy podcaster. Where can they go and find you?
Well, okay, find me on all the socials. On Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, just type in Cinema Recall podcast. I do have another podcast that I host on Rabbit Hole Podcast that I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to promote really quickly. It's called The Rotten Truth. Me and my friend Danny Roberts, we review movies that have gotten low scores on Rotten Tomatoes and decides, hey, are they really as bad as people say they are? And so we reviewed like Cool World and 1941 and Graveyard Shift and Robocop 2, Fear
Mm-hmm.
and Loathing in Las Vegas, Lifeless
Well,
Ordinary.
mm. Oh, I mean, I can get it. Yeah, definitely a bunch of them are definitely over despised, I suppose.
Yeah,
I don't want to use overly hated because that's another podcast. Uh, do listen to though.
sure.
All right. You can find me on my social medias at CatBus Russ, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, primarily Blue Sky, proudly banned on Twitter. Um, and if you want to help the show out, rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps, 5 stars preferably. Be as honest as you'd like to be in the comments. I'm all about passive aggressiveness in that case. You can subscribe to the Patreon. I did crazy patreon.com/I did crazy flicks. That's $3 a month, ad-free podcast, shout out as long as you're a subscriber and access to the original 90forchill.com, the podcast feed. So thank you, Tim Bates. Thank you, Dad, and thank you, the Scoop Staley. Best way to help, be like Vern. Offer a movie, a director, a theme, an actor. As long as it's off the wall, I will give you the time to talk about that. If it's a little more down to earth, if we're going to talk Richard Linklater, I say I'll give you Before Sunrise. That's a nice 100 minutes. I will not give you Boyhood.
Yes,
So.
very.
All
Uh,
right, so send an email to rustthebus07@gmail.com, rusthebus07@gmail.com, or hit me up again on social media. And just got to thank my inspiration, my best friend, Station Marie Harden. I hope she's doing this. Thanks for keeping me out of too much trouble. I hope she's doing the same for everybody else she touched in her life. And I hope she's squeezing the ectoplasm out of Skimbleshanks, the one-eared angel. Thanks again, Vern, for coming on the show. It was an honor. I mean, and
Huge honor, man. This has been a lot of fun. I
all
definitely
right.
enjoyed being on here. I hope this movie was off the wall,
Oh,
as I
Oh,
has this been the
yes.
most off the wall movie you've seen on this podcast?
I, it's definitely the narratively, yes, I will say that.
Okay. Yes, I'm like in the top of like all the off the walls. Because if I'm gonna come on this podcast and you're gonna talk about off the wall shit, I gotta bring in a movie that's really off the wall. So
Oh,
I'm hired to
yes.
do so.
All I can really say is maybe narratively, yes. Shredder's Orpheus. Shredder Orpheus.
Oh,
That's a tough one, really. Or Tammy and the T-Rex. Those are
sure. Oh, great one
Yeah,
right there. Okay.
right. So those yeah, there's definitely stuff that I probably would call crazier, but this is definitely an experience. And
Beautiful.
yes. All right. Well, thank you again, Vern, and until next time.
Can I hear a wahoo?
This podcast was made possible by the love and support of Dave and Cindy Stevens, Rory Stevens and Allison Higgins, Danny Daniels, and Stephanie Smith.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.